Welcome to this week's Cattle Call. I'm Susan Littlefield here on the Rural Radio Network. We are broadcasting from the Nebraska State Fair. I was hoping to be able to run over and do this while the cattle were showing in the background, but it's just way too loud there. I mean, it's loud here, but nothing compared to what it's like there over in the cattle barn with all those fans running. We're going to take a look at the reaction. We had that cattle on feed report of last week, and as Brad and I kind of dove into it last week, got some nice reaction in the futures this week coming off that report. We're also going to take a look at sloppy boxes, possible some higher cash numbers. We've got a lot to unbox today. As you heard me mention, Brad Kooima joins us. He is with Kooima and Varilek out of Sioux Center, Iowa. And first and foremost, I am so happy to hear that you're not hiccuping this time.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and thank your viewers. I actually had a couple of them hit our website up with some suggestions on how to get rid of them. Great Foster Brooks for the old people. I remember that guy. He'd come on and actually he had a whole stick. I actually didn't get rid of him until yesterday, to be honest with you. I thought this is going to really be embarrassing. I'm going to go a whole week and I'm going to have the same unprofessional deal. So thank you for your concern. And the reason we're having trouble with see a different background, I got a different computer. I was going to tell you that I had a hiccup in my other computer. Yeah.
Which technically you did, and that's why you're in your office today. So we had a cattle and feed report last week. You said really some nice reaction from the futures after those numbers came out.
Right. I know maybe it's a bit of old news to some of the people here, but I mean, let's just back up here a little bit. We had a placement number that was viewed as being a little negative because it was slightly over the guess. However, the guess that what we were comparing it to last year was a historically low number. Okay, a very, very low placement last year in July. To give you some perspective, if you looked at the last 5 years together, this placement number would have been 98. In other words, 2% below than what the 5-year average was. So before people got too alarmed with that, we marketed more cattle than we placed, also a positive step. But I was really happy with I actually thought there was a chance here after this $15 sell-off, which felt to me at least like more people that wanted to be out or people that had to do something to offset risk than really the market, telling you that it was $15 too high. So I thought maybe, just maybe those folks that needed to get out or whatever were maybe out already by this week, Monday. And that proved to be true. So really, really happy to see great action here Monday, Tuesday. Today we gave a little bit of it back, but hey, we rallied $4 in 2 days. So to break a little bit, I don't think should have been unexpected today. So happy with the way the market's handled itself so far this week. Now it'll be nice to follow through in terms of cash, right?
So is that going to happen? Are we going to see the cash pick up some momentum? And I mean, are the holdouts there till a Friday possible?
Usually the longer we wait, the better it gets. I hate that Tuesday trade where people give up easy. We've done that a couple times lately. We basically lost $2 or $3 for 4 consecutive weeks. So let's see if we can't, bow our neck a little bit here. Basis has completely flipped. August cattle. So Friday here, the best bet I could get here Friday was 184. I'm not saying that was necessarily the market, but basically Texas sold cattle at 83, Kansas at 84. August futures today spent most of the day at 85. We've completely flipped the basis. So for those people that were so anxious to sell cattle because I'm a hedger and the basis is good, whether they are or not, that deal is done. So hopefully these guys in the South grow a pair and say, well, the basis is such that, sorry, Susan, that was out of line.
No. That's perfect. We're okay with that.
Right in character, huh?
Yep.
So I would think that actually the futures being a bit of a premium would actually incentivize those people to hang just a little bit tougher. So I'm going to go out on a limb and be in the minority and say cash is going to be a couple higher this week.
So having said that, and as you look at the movement that's been happening, and we talked about this a little bit last week, who's more current, the North or the South?
The North. And I did a little more digging on that since you and I visited. And some of that's kind of a subjective opinion. But I did visiting with really a pretty good source friend of mine in Kansas. I tell you what happened there. It looks like to me, maybe in more areas than just Kansas, but we were talking particularly to Kansas. And everybody knows that the replacement cost of feeder cattle has been high, and I'm not fighting you guys that are cow calf guys. You deserve to make all kinds of money, okay? But the replacement costs were high. The trade was not great, okay? You were buying something that's going to break even higher than where the market, blah blah blah, okay? So what some of those formula guys and what some of those big commercial guys decided to do, it sounds to me like, is, well, let's just feed them longer. And so you've got a little more weight there. Now, I think we're on the back end of that, because I'm being told now that we're starting to clean up and get into tighter numbers there. But I think that goes a long way in explaining why these weights have been stubbornly high. Where in the north here, it feels to me like we're still very, very current. We've got small show lists, not very big.
So what's your thoughts and takeaways on the sloppiness, though, of the box beef?
Very seasonal, to top the boxes for that last big push for Labor Day, right? And what you advertise is what usually moves. Now that we're on the week of Labor Day, now we're on to something else. I guess honestly, it probably goes into a more of a cheaper meat feature for a while. Now we'll see, because I've mentioned this on the show before. I apologize for people who are sick of hearing it. I really think that the only positive thing I can think of coming out of COVID was that we moved that needle of between hotel restaurant usage and moved that way toward conventional. Go to your grocery store, buy a steak, cook it yourself. Find out you can do that 2 or 3 times a week for what it costs you at some of the restaurants, and that buoyed that the usage all the way into the fall. So I bristle when people say the demand is bad. I look at what some stuff costs, and I'm not against anybody making money selling a cup of coffee, but $7 for a cup of coffee most places, and you're going to tell me a ribeye at $10.99 is too high that you can buy at my grocery store this weekend. I don't buy it. So I think the market. I think the market bottomed last week. I stuck my neck out last week and said that, and I haven't seen any reason to buy it. I think it's going to get better.
Well, I hope, Brad, that as we head into this Labor Day weekend, folks are sharing with us some of their grilling pictures of the amazing steaks that they're going to eat. So having said that, I'll challenge you next week to share some photos with me so we can share it on this program.
Well, I know brisket's on the menu for one day up here for my family, and I'm sure we'll have steaks another. I'll remember to do that.
Sounds good. Hey, what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
AKBtrading.com is the website. Phone number 712-722-0023.
All right, quick reminder, commodity futures and options do involve a substantial risk of loss not suitable to all investors. And that's this week's Cattle Call from the Nebraska State Fair on the Rural Radio Network.